Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mole Hole. I am your host, Chriz, aka The Mole. Joining me for this video is Anastasia Lazerbeam, or podcast, I should say. It's Anastasia Lazerbeam.
Hello.
And we're here today to review The Vampire Diaries Season 1, which is a series of videos we're going to be doing for Halloween. Because across the board here on the X Panel, we're going to be doing Halloween ones. We plan to review multiple Vampire Diaries. I've also going to plan to review Gods and Monsters if Marcus Shadow and James Phoenix have seen it by then, and a few other videos, so this should be fun. And of course, obviously, there's going to be Let's Plays and stuff about survival horrors and all that good stuff, because Halloween.
Ooh.
But of course, we're here to review Vampire Diaries Season 1, and we'll try to only discuss Season 1 and then Season 2 during Season 2 and stuff. It will be worth noting there will be spoilers for this because, well, yeah. But it's not going to be it's not going to be, I'm not going to go through everything in order of when they happened. I'll just start by saying the overarching story this season is the fact Elena's sort of had her parents die and stuff like that, and she meets the new boy at school, Stefan, and everything changes.
Yeah.
Because Stefan's brother, Damon, comes to town. Which, yeah, that's pretty much the overarching story. I say the overarching because Series 1 is all about establishing various stuff. Now, there is other storylines which we can go into later on, but the main story, like the main characters, because that's what Vampire Diaries really is about the relationships and the core and stuff, which is the main three of this series, obviously, is Elena Gilbert, Stefan Salvatore, and Damon Salvatore. Played by Nina Dobrev, Paul Wesley, and Ian Somerhandler, which, yeah. So what do you think about those three as a group?
They have very interesting dynamics. They play off very well with each other.
They do. I also love the idea, which they start in Series 1. Obviously, it changes throughout the series, as we will go into, but I love the idea that Stefan's the good brother, Damon's the bad brother. They cement that in Series 1.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you do that.
Yeah, and Elena's just sort of thrust into this world. She sort of falls for Stefan in Series 1, and this is the birth of Stelena, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it a sneeze. I call it Stelena. But which is Stefan and Elena as a couple, which they weren't an overly terrible couple. They're not my favorite couple in the Vampire Diaries, but they weren't a terrible couple, and they did have some sort of a connection, and it was good. It was. Now one of the problems with this is early on from the very first episode or two is very Twilighty.
Yes, it starts off very Twilighty, and it gets weird with fog and weird shit. But it's kind of establishes itself pretty early in right after those two
To be
episodes.
fair, the fog and stuff isn't what makes it Twilighty.
Well, I just thought it added it to the cheese,
The fog and stuff was because in the books they had similar-ish powers, but which is cool, and that adds to the supernatural element. But they thought that was too supernatural, so they turned it down. But like Stefan's hair and similar, like he has similar looks with Elena as they do in Twilight and stuff. Which that was a turn off for me. However, after you get over that first couple of episodes, it develops into its own thing and it becomes really good.
It does. It turns into its whole thing, and you forget that it was even Twilight in the beginning.
Yeah, and this series, every character's likable. I didn't hate Stefan. I didn't hate Elena yet, and I didn't hate, and obviously I didn't hate Damon. He's my favorite, but
I hated Damon in this season. I mean, he grew on me, but I hated him pretty much for the first season.
but he's the best one.
I like him now, and he's my favorite. But I'm not gonna spoil anything. But I liked him later, not in this one, for obvious reasons.
Which it is worth noting. Damon came to town in this series, one, to mess with Stefan, as he did promise him a eternity of suffering, like you do. He was there just to try and find his ex-girlfriend who he thinks may have been abandoned and was trapped inside the bottom of this church tomb, as you do. And of course, when that happens, yeah, stuff goes horribly wrong because he was trying to find Catherine, who is a doppelganger who, as you find out throughout the series, looks exactly like Elena. Like, it's amazing. They must have found two actresses who looked exactly the same. I'm kidding, as I know it's the same one, but
Yeah, or they just did the same person.
it is the same person. But yeah, it's Catherine Catherine was there once. She was the one who helped them become vampires, and she dated both brothers. And Damon wants to get her back. Stefan sort of wants to move on with Elena, and yeah, this is how shit goes down. Which that's like the main big story, because like that even builds to near the end when you have like the tomb and they find out Catherine's not there, but they accidentally release all the vampires who are in there, who slaughter shitloads of people
Yeah, if that wasn't too.
at the Founders Council, which that was awesome.
Like, everybody died.
Yep. Even Tyler's dickish dad.
Well, yeah, but no one
He
really
wasn't.
mourned that loss.
Tyler's dickish dad didn't die, though, is worth noting. He didn't die from the vampires. He died because there's also a secret council within the city. And they used this device to try and deafen the vampires. And for unknown reasons, which we will explore next season, he started to hold his head, and he felt it as he was driving his car and crashed his car and died. And that's the end of Dick Dad.
Dick Dad. What a lovely name for him.
Dick Dad.
Dick Dad.
Well, to be
It's
fair,
like
his
Stink
son's a
Dog.
massive douche.
He's less of a douche, though.
I will say Tyler is a massive douche. He
I know,
becomes
but
He's likable in next season. This season, he's just a bully that likes to beat people up and just be a dick. I think this is also the season where he slept with Matt's mother.
yes.
Slept with Matt's mother, then beat Matt up because he's his friend.
At least it was consensual. It's not like he raped his mom like some other characters did.
No one raped any characters.
Okay, fine. Mine raped you to make you think you want it when you really didn't.
Technically, it's worth noting, and the fan base, for people listening, I will cover this, have gone through this. They don't like the people in the fan base, and even the actors and stuff don't like saying it was rape, because law of God and stuff clearly states, as we saw early on and stuff, is Caroline wanted Damon. The only thing Damon did was compel her not to fear him as a vampire. He didn't compel her to love him as a vampire. He just basically compelled her not to fear his vampirism and then date her.
I guess, but it didn't feel very honest to me.
Well, it's not honest, but there's a difference between honest and rape.
It's still dishonesty for sex.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
It's a certain dishonesty, yeah, but I'd make the case, isn't that how most people are? Like, for example, let's say if you were to date someone, you're not going to list all the things, all the medicines and stuff you'd be taking before you date them, because they need to know this stuff. No, you're not going to do that.
But if I was like an otherworldly being,
You are, but yeah, it's a case of you basically try to show your best element. It's like, even in comic books, does Superman go to tell Lois Lane he's Superman, or does he try to date her as Clark Kent?
I don't know. I never read Superman.
Yeah, but I know you've seen films and stuff. You're not that much of an idiot, but you haven't seen anything of Superman. Because
I didn't know Clark Kent and Lois Lane were a thing. I thought it was just Superman and Lois Lane. But if you say so, I'll believe it.
You were in one of our videos where you literally said you enjoyed watching Lois and Clark.
Really?
Yes, the one
I
where
don't
Marcus
remember
mentioned it. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, okay. You have to watch the video again.
It's fine. But yeah, anyway, I think it was on like one of the top lists, like top countdowns. But yeah, but basically, you get that all the time, and it's like Damon, to his credit, he just made Caroline not want to fear him as a vampire, which is fine. Now, whether or not he was a dick to her, yes. Was he abusive? Yes. But it's not. It's word. But we can't use the rape. But people don't like it in the fandom if you use the rape word because that's implying it's something it's not.
Okay.
I was only mentioning that because that's a big thing, and I'm not sure if any of the Vampire Diary fans out there will actually want to listen to this podcast. But hey, fans, I got you back.
All right.
But yeah, the other storyline we have, speaking of Damon being a dick, is Alaric comes to town.
I love Alaric.
He comes to town to replace the history teacher killed by Damon. And he comes to town because his wife was killed by Damon.
they're just meant to be buddies, you know?
Yeah, and he comes to town because he thinks Damon was the vampire that killed his wife. And it turns out turns out Laric's not just a history teacher; he's also a vampire hunter. But as he learns, Isabel, who's Elena's biological mother, actually tracked down Damon and stuff and tried to get him to turn her of her own free will because she just wanted to be a vampire. So technically, in this instance, Damon didn't do anything wrong. The killing of the first history teacher, yes. Which that's an awesome scene for people listening. There's a great scene where Stefan's like, "Your humanity showing," and Damon's like, "Oh, really?" Boom, just kills a random teacher as he walks out. It's like, does that seem humane? Basically, it's like that's awesome. I love it when Damon kills people.
Yeah.
He's the best one.
Sure. I
You
kind of
don't
like
like?
when Klaus does it in. Sorry, I was gonna say the Christmas thing, but yeah, that was like that's a different scene.
We'll be
Spoiler.
we'll be getting to that, and I do like Klaus. He is
Yeah.
awesome. And if there's time, but I don't know if there is, I would like to squeeze out an originals review, but I might just keep that. But going through, like I said, yeah. So we had that storyline. What did you think of Alaric's storyline and his development?
I liked it. His whole thing is incredibly sympathetic about like how he's like, oh, like my wife. I'm so worried about my wife. I want my wife back, but she really didn't want him anyway. Like she
Nope.
fucking left him.
She is, I believe you would say, bitch.
Bitch, there you go.
I believe that's the American term for it, isn't it? She was a massive bitch.
There we go. Okay, I'll accept that because she was so.
She was, yeah. Another storyline we have during this season is Elena's best friend, Bonnie Bennett, discovers she's a witch. She's from a big line of witches, the Bonnet witches.
Bennett.
Yeah, I said Bonnie Bennett.
Okay. I in my brain you combine those two words, so I'm like bonnet, and I'm like, wait, what?
No, Bonnie
Okay.
Bennett. But yeah, she's from the Bennett witch line,
It's a big famous witch line.
Yeah, which is awesome. And her grandmother's a witch and stuff, and they go into that, which that's pretty interesting. I also love how, like, her grandmother's constantly warning her, don't get involved in vampire stuff. It never ends well for witches. And
Yeah.
it's not like some stuff where all supernatural stuff just happen to like each other because they're supernatural. This one is actually like little, I don't know what you'd call it, but like political subsections of each thing. Like vampires don't like something else, which we'll go into next season.
But there's a legitimate reason, like, I think why like witches shouldn't be involved in like vampires. It doesn't end well for them. Historically, it did not end well for them. Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't end well for them.
Okay.
Which they needed them to help them with the tomb to open it up and to go in it to try and get Catherine back. And if people can hear me chewing, I'll just address it during this video. It's because I'm meant to be taking right now, which isn't the best time, but I'm supposed to be taking, as you can hear here, I'm taking Nicorette bits to help myself stop smoking.
Yay!
So this is nicotine gum to get rid of cravings.
We all support you stop smoking.
But I was just saying that in case they thought, why is he eating during a review? Anyone listening? Yeah. No. But so we have that. We also have other stuff like Lexi comes to town. She's a friend of Stefan's.
I loved Lexi.
Who's
she
killed
died way too
because of
quickly.
Damien. She's killed because of Damon.
Damon likes to just kill everybody. Almost.
He does. Now, one of the big storylines this season, which in season 1, which I didn't really care for, was the Vicky Donovan story.
Oh yeah, that was uncomfortable.
She's Matt's sister. And she uses drugs and does all that stuff with Jeremy and stuff. She's dating Tyler, but then she's sort of going with Jeremy because drugs, and
You're drug buddies.
then she's eventually killed by Damon.
See, you said a theme here.
And she put a little counter at the bottom, ding, every time she's killed by Damon. And she's eventually killed by Damon. And I know people are going to say, he didn't kill her, he turned her into a vampire. He turned her into a vampire. But one of the things you have to do in order to be a vampire is die, so he had to have killed her. Sort of. But, or at least I like, yeah. So basically, Damon turns her into a vampire, and because he's bored. And then, and that's his word. And then basically, yeah, Matt gets screwed up over this, and we have that big storyline, and you have the cool scene where she gets killed at the end. Can't remember if it was Damon or Stefan that killed her.
I think it was Damon, because I think after he killed her, he buried her in the woods, because I think the same person who killed her buried her. Unless I'm wrong. Which I could totally be.
Yeah, I'm really not sure about that. But yeah, she's killed by, I think she's killed by Stefan, and I remember Damon mind wipes Jeremy so he forgets.
Yeah.
Can you stay still during these?
Oh, sorry, I was plugging my headset in because it is beeping.
But yeah, with this, but yeah, like I said, we have all that, and yeah, so that's season 1 basically. Almost, like I said, there is other storylines a bit. Like you've also got stuff like Uncle John showing up, who is Elena and Jeremy's uncle, who was actually Elena's biological father, who's the leader of this like evil council that's trying to kill the vampires and stuff. And I say evil because, to be fair, you can understand why.
And if you're thinking like me, wait, that guy's her biological father, but that other guy was his stepfather, like, and the person he was married to was her actual biological mother. Wow, there's a whole twisty ties of like crazy family relations.
Well, basically, Isabel gets pregnant by John and gives the baby up for adoption.
Yes.
And they get adopted by John's brother and sister. That's not that complicated.
And then, like, he leaves John and is with Alark. Right?
Yeah,
He's allergic after John.
You know about Isabel?
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we have that happen. And yeah, that Uncle John is not a nice person. You may know him as the guy who plays Dr. Frankenstein on
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time, which we've also reviewed and is available here on the X-Band.
Also, I liked shit, I forget her sister, her aunt, like the mom's youngest sister, I think. I liked her. I liked her a lot.
Yeah, I like her, Jenna.
Yeah.
I like Aunt Jenna. She's cool.
Yeah.
But
she's like trying to get her thesis done or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what season 1 is about, basically. It's just about establishing stuff, but once they do, the storylines all start to build, and it becomes one of those shows where I like shows like Buffy and stuff like that, but to be fair, there are some episodes of Buffy where you feel like you don't need to watch them. In the Vampire Diaries, every episode just furthers the plot and the storylines. As you'll notice in this, like, you couldn't just miss one episode, like say, oh, I'm just not going to watch episode 11.
Because I've accidentally, because I watched on Netflix, I've gone to like another episode because I actually skipped one. And I'm like, whoa, and I had to go back.
Yeah, like, let's say episode 11. Go have the episode list in front of me. I'm just pulling a random number out my ass. Episode 11. Episode 11. If you missed episode 11, you miss stuff like Damon's arrival causes the mysterious stranger to flee, Elena's car to get overturned, and Damon going off with Elena, furthering their relationship as they get closer, and various other plot lines within that episode.
Yeah.
Like, Stefan also reveals that he saved Elena from the crash that killed her parents.
Yeah, only because her daddy wanted to, because he
Because
would have saved the dad
Superman,
first.
or that.
Okay.
Not because Superman. Also, Alaric notices Damon in this episode and recognizes him as the vampire that, I'm using air quote, killed his wife. Because he thinks he killed his wife at this point.
Yeah, his wife Cody was like, "Hey, turn me into vampire."
Yeah, but you see what I mean? You just can't miss an episode, and that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Now, the problems I had was, like I said, with it being, what do you call it? It was like early on, it started off as like very Twilight-ish,
Yeah.
but it is a very, I don't know, well crafted and series, and it does feel like each episode seems to be an improvement on what came before it in season 1.
And also, I think in the first episode, she actually does the Dear Diary thing.
To be fair, what's it called?
I know it's called Vampire Diaries, but the fact that like she only does that like once or twice or something.
Yeah, they eventually dropped that.
Yeah.
But and I will say that's kind of cool, and you will notice some similarities, in my opinion, between the Vampire Diaries and Buffy. But I believe that's because Josh Whedon took some stuff from the Vampire Diaries books, which were out a couple of years ago, and when he made Buffy.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So yeah, how would you rate this series?
I would rate this series as like a 8.5. As in, like, you should totally watch and check it out. It's not gonna like greatest thing ever, but it's like pretty good. Like a B plus, you know? It's pretty awesome. I'm not saying it's a B movie or anything. I'm just saying, like, that's like an 85. That's like pretty good.
Okay. I wasn't sure what characters you liked this series.
Oh, I would love Caroline. And
In season 1?
in season, I kind of liked her. Oh, no, wait, sorry, I'm thinking later seasons. My bad. Okay, okay, I liked Lark, and this one he's my number 1, and then Bonnie.
Fair enough. Mine would probably be in season 1. My favorites would probably be Damon. And yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go with maybe Bonnie, because I do like Bonnie. But I also do like Stefan and Elena and stuff like. There's no characters I really hate this season besides Tyler. Like season 1, I did not like Tyler.
Nobody liked Tyler because he was a dick face.
But yeah, I rate season 1 pretty high. It's not as good as what we'll be reviewing next. I prefer season 2.
Yes.
Season 2 and 3 are like fucking awesome. Season 1 is a good starting point. Now, a lot of shows don't get this good in their starting point, and like I said, it does build, so it's totally worth checking out. And it is on Netflix or DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff too. So that's pretty good. And yeah, like I said, all the actors do a good job.
The acting's very good. And it's a very good starting point. Like usually the first seasons where they establish themselves and you can tell where they're going, and you can definitely see a lot of stuff is set up for later things.
Yeah. And like I said, there is other storylines in this. Like there's one about like Sheriff Forbes.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not really going into all the storylines on this because, as we learned with some other stuff, it takes too long. I'm just mentioning the key stuff and saying our overarching thoughts. If you liked the Vampire Diaries season 1, please feel free to leave a comment below.
Yeah, let us know what you liked about the Vampire Diaries.
I'd be curious to know like who your favorite characters were this season, what you liked. Hell, you may not even see the Twilight connection we do. But I personally did, but I'm not sure if you guys did, that's perfectly acceptable. Hell, you may not even like season 1. You may not like it until later on. You may even hate the characters we like. So yeah, that's the good thing with this series is there's so many characters and threads that different people can enjoy different stuff, and
you'll probably enjoy them at different times too.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, and yeah, there was another character that Pew mentioned of Caroline, who is in season 1. She's just sort of like Bonnie and Elena's friend who doesn't have anything special about her, who's like a queen bee, bitchy sort of like prom queenish type.
She's like only a slightly lesser version of like the Mean Girls. Like if you've seen that movie.
I wouldn't call her a slut per se.
I wouldn't say she's a slut, but I'm just saying like personality-wise, other than being a slut.
Yeah, but I mean she's not a slut, but yeah, it's.
And that's what I
like,
said. Besides being a slut, we take that one part out and keep everything else.
Yeah, it's like I said, she's the typical high school prom girl types that you see and stuff like that. But she's a little bit likable at least.
Yeah.
But there is more on her next time.
Yeah.
But yeah. I was your host of this one, Chriz, aka The Mole. Joining me was Anastasia Lazerbeam.
See you later.
And yeah, hopefully you stick around, check out the other ones, and leave feedback, comments, and stuff, because we look forward to interacting with all of you Vampire Diaries fans. So, peace.
Woo.